Welcome to Recently Logged, where...
Hello, everyone.
Hola.
I hope you enjoyed that MIDI version of All-Star by Smash Mouth.
Everyone's favorite song.
Everyone's favorite. Well, it's my favorite song, personally.
Well, it's everyone's favorite song.
But, you know.
You're not special.
I'm not special. Well, what if they've never watched today's movie, Micah?
Doesn't matter. It's still their favorite song.
I think that's, like, one of the few good Smash Mouth songs. There's, like...
I think it's the only good song.
I mean, their cover of I'm a Believer is all right.
Oh, yeah, but that's a cover.
It's a cover. Do covers not count, Micah?
Covers don't count.
Okay, well then yes, it's their only good song. But yeah, hello everyone. This is Recently Logged. It's a movie podcast. If you've never listened to it before, I figured I'd explain to you what it is. I mean, I feel like almost everywhere you would stumble upon Recently Logged, it's kind of obvious that it's about movies, but you know, whatever.
I mean, the cover right now, like what you're seeing on the screen, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you clicked on it on like Spotify or something, is literally just Shrek. So.
It's literally Shrek, yeah. Well, who knows? We could just be discussing the philosophy of Shrek or something.
Oh,
like that.
yes.
Like, there's
the
podcasts.
philosophy of Shrek.
There are podcasts out there that discuss the philosophy of media.
Yeah, let's talk about the philosophy of Shrek.
I feel like the philosophy of Shrek really isn't that complicated.
Come on, so we got to break it down. The audience wants it.
I don't think that's what they want, Micah.
Roll with it.
I think they just want to hear the basic facts for the movie so that we can get on to the main discussion.
Roll with it, SpongeBob. Roll with it. All right,
It's a great episode.
We're gonna do the basic facts. All right, Shrek is a 2001 movie.
Actually, he's an ogre, Mike.
Oh my god. It's rated PG. It's 90 minutes. The little IMDb description is: a mean lord exiles fairy tale creatures to a swamp of a grumpy ogre who must go on a quest to rescue a princess in order to get his land back.
Well, yeah. So just like Scooby-Doo, it's all about real estate, Mike.
Exactly. It's always about real estate. The cast consists of Mike Myers, Eddie Murphy, Cameron Diaz, John Lithgow.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. It's directed by Andrew Adams and Vicky Jensen.
Heck yeah.
It was based on a book by William
Steig, I would guess, but I don't know.
And then the screenplay was written by, I guess, Ted Elliott, Terry Rossio, Joe Stillman, sorry, and Roger Schulman.
Well, there you go. I guess that's all you need to know.
It won one Oscar.
Oh, yeah. This is the first.
Best animated feature. It was the first.
The first ever award-winning animated movie. Mm-hmm. Well, not first ever award-winning, but first best animated feature winning.
Yeah.
At the Academy.
Because animated feature didn't exist.
I was about to say, like, Snow White won that honorary award at the Oscars when it came out.
But... And didn't Beauty and the Beast just win Best Picture?
No, it didn't win Best Picture, but they
got
like
nominated,
it got nominated, yeah, because apparently it was just good enough that they were like, okay, maybe animation needs a category of its own.
Right. But yeah, that's Shrek. And if you don't know what Shrek is, you've been living under a cultural rock.
I feel like even though we weren't allowed to watch Shrek as children, even we know what Shrek was.
No, Shrek was huge. It doesn't matter if you like watched it extensively or not. Shrek was like... It was Shrek.
It was Shrek, yeah, I was about to say. Like, it seems like Shrek has always been there, you know?
Right? I mean, like, it's because it came out...
Which, I mean, it came out, like, right before I was born, so...
Right? Like,
yeah, it has always been there. For me, anyway.
But, like, you know, culturally, it's always been... Like, it became big whilst we grew up.
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, those were the basic facts. Let's move on into our opening thoughts about the movie called Shrek.
The basic thoughts.
The opening thoughts.
The basic thoughts.
The opening thoughts.
Basic thoughts.
Opening thoughts.
Basic thought.
Well, I guess since I usually go first, I'll go first.
Amazing.
Amazing. Well, what do I think? I almost said, what do I Shrek? What do I think?
What do you Shrek, Ruby?
What do I think of the movie called Shrek? You know, I hadn't seen Shrek. Like, the first time I watched it was like a couple years ago now. Last year?
No, Ruby.
What? Wait, how long ago was it?
It's been like 5 years
5
since we
years?
first saw Shrek, if not more.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh. Well, never mind then. But like, we didn't really grow up with it in the same way a lot of people did, especially from our generation. But it's really it's an interesting movie. You can definitely tell it's a kind of a response to like the Disney fairy tale era. Like, what is that age called?
That's what it was.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what it was. Pretty much from inception. What is that era called? I don't remember. But everyone's familiar with like Snow White, Cinderella, that era of Disney. It's pretty much just a direct satire of that, and it works really well as that.
Because you see, Jeffrey Katzenberg was kicked out of Disney.
Whoops.
And then he started DreamWorks. And he decided, hey, let's make a movie parodying everything from Disney.
And then it was the biggest success of all time.
Which I have no idea how, like, coming from a place of like, haha, let's get back at those Disney folks.
I know, it feels like it should just be a bunch of like really unclever, cheap jokes, like cheap shots at Disney, you know?
Yeah.
But it's actually a really surprisingly clever movie with a really good message.
Yeah.
Like, who would have thought? But overall, I really enjoy it. Like, comedy, it is a comedy, like, first and foremost, and that's one of the most like subjective things to criticize in a movie, because different people find different things funny. That's just a fact of life. I personally find this movie really hilarious, but that is just me. I would be like, it was influential to my comedy as a child, but like, I think it just shares my comedic taste.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really watch it when I was
I think
younger.
it shares like everybody's comedic taste.
I mean, it's just a funny movie, man.
Besides, like, I guess, like, somewhat, like, my parents are older.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like, because, like, even my mom likes quite a bit of the stuff in this. She just thinks it's stupid.
I mean, like, I don't know. Like, it's just especially, we're going to be talking about the whole Shrek series. And in the context of, we've only seen the second one.
The first two.
Yeah, like the first two. And but, like,
of course, I'm not looking forward to Shrek the Third.
I don't know. It looks weird. I'm not looking forward to it. But since we only have the context of the first two, this one's not as funny as I think the second one is.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, I think it's a lot more of that kind of snappy-ish back and forth improv sort of comedy, like that style, that feel to it.
Yeah.
Than the second one has. The second one has a lot more like written jokes in it.
No, this definitely was a lot more just like,
yeah, this one,
the characters just being,
yeah, this one feels
snappy
like
at each other.
you could have just played this movie straight to an extent, not obviously not all the way because of some of the plot points, but you could have just played it straight without all of their like joking dialogue in it, and it would have worked relatively well. Most of the actual jokes themselves come from the characters saying them.
Yeah, and a lot of it actually was improv when it comes to some of the more iconic jokes.
Yeah. But on the whole, I don't know. I really love it. It's a insanely rewatchable movie. Like, I'll probably just turn it on like like a bunch of times in the rest of my life. Be like, what do I want to watch? And then I'll see my Shrek DVD sitting there across the room, and I'll be like, oh yeah, it's Shrek time, baby. But yeah, I don't know. We'll get more into what I think later.
All right.
I rambled on there.
Is that your basic
Yes,
thoughts?
those are my opening
your
thoughts.
basic thoughts.
Why don't you share what you thought of the movie Shrek?
All right, I'll share my basic thoughts.
No.
I like Shrek quite a bit. I think it's pretty darn funny most of the time.
Yeah.
I think it's got some really cleverly written jokes. I think all of the characters, even Cameron Diaz, who I'm not a fan of, have really great chemistry. Like, just the three of them just going off.
Yeah, I didn't even mention the
And I feel like that's
performances.
something you kind of miss, at least in the second one. Like, I feel as the series goes on and as it becomes more quote-unquote grand, you kind of lose just, like, the feeling of just, like, the three of them hanging out.
This is kind of a hangout movie, I guess.
I will say one thing, because, like, I love so much about this movie, but I hate one thing about this movie. So, in story writing, I've always kind of disliked, but in this movie especially, I really dislike plot points where it's, like, the simplest tiny misunderstanding that completely drives the plot. So, like, for those of you who don't know, Fiona turns into an ogre at night.
You're spoiling Shrek.
Yes, I'm spoiling
Aw.
Shrek. Fiona turns into an ogre at night, and nobody knows except for Donkey, who now knows.
Well, now the audience knows.
and Fiona likes Shrek, and Shrek likes Fiona, but Fiona, for some reason, thinks even though Shrek is an ogre, that he won't like her because she turns into an ogre. So she says she's hideous and ugly, and that nobody would like an ogre, right as Shrek conveniently walks by and hears hideous, ugly, and nobody would love an ogre. And then he thinks, after going and getting a flower for her, that she's talking about him. So then he becomes a big jerk.
Oh my god.
And he leaves.
Wow.
And that's the whole end of the plot. Like, I hate that so much.
Is that like the only thing you dislike about this movie?
Almost, yeah.
Dang.
That's almost the only thing I dislike about the movie, but I really dislike it. I mean, obviously, I think there are some things that are not perfect.
Yeah, well,
not all the
obviously,
jokes land.
Yeah, not all of them.
And, like, some of the plot's just kind of weird, but, like,
Yeah.
the only thing I probably actively dislike is, yes, that.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah, those are my basic thoughts.
All right. Well, let's dive on into our main discussion, Micah.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Alrighty. Do you have an opening question for us?
Do
Micah?
I have an opening question? That
That is the question.
is the opening
That's the
question.
opening question. Whoa. I solved my own problem.
Sure, and I was stupid this time and didn't think of an answer to this age-old question.
Oh, you're doing this one first.
Yeah, because I
Okay.
didn't really think of
All
anything else. But man, I was stupid. I usually pick these while we're watching the movie. What is your favorite scene or sequence? Actually, I do think I have one, though.
That's tough. There are a lot of good ones in this. You got the dragon lair, which is a lot of fun. You got the opening, which is a lot of fun. You got the Monsieur Hood section, which is really fun. I don't know, man. I like a lot of this movie. Just like stuff. It kind of has that. Not to say it feels like Monty Python, but it kind of has that Monty Python effect with me, where I kind of remember like every scene.
Yeah.
And fond memories. It is a fun movie.
Yeah.
If I had to pick a favorite scene, might actually go with the Monsieur Hood scene. It's really funny.
Wow.
Like if I was just going to like preserve one scene in this movie, and I didn't pick the All-Star scene.
Wow.
Because it's really iconic.
You're going way off from what I'm gonna pick.
Okay, I know, but I just really like the Monsieur Hood.
No, it's
song.
just funny because like my favorite scenes and sequences of this, and I don't remember exactly like which one I want to choose because like, but it's one of like the Donkey and Shrek just like
Yeah.
finally opening up and like talking. Either the moon one is fine, but I'm trying to remember where the other one is, like the one before the moon one, and I can't remember the specific scene where they first start like actually talking.
I mean, they kind of talk outside of Duloc a little bit.
No, that's after the moon scene.
Oh, is it?
Well, no, I guess
No,
before.
I was about to say there's no way that's even possible.
They go back to Duloc.
Well,
I thought
yeah,
you were talking about that.
No. With the whole onions thing, like
Yeah, the onions. I don't know. Just like I guess the sequence I would refer to, because if you could just do a sequence, would just be like Donkey and Shrek's friendship. That's my favorite stuff. Like when they actually have moments of like just being good pals. Because like I said, I think their relationship is kind of at the heart of this, even though like you have the Shrek and Fiona romance.
I mean, yeah.
And I feel like you just kind of lose a lot of it in the second one. Because I love the second one.
I mean, yeah,
but
that's
there's
true.
not a whole lot of Shrek Donkey
there's
stuff
not a lot
going
of
on.
Shrek and Donkey action in the second one.
And even then you add Puss in Boots.
Which is a fun shake up to their dynamic in that movie.
No, yeah,
but,
like I said, I love Shrek too. But I'm just saying, like, I really, really like Shrek and Donkey just being able to get along and just like talk and joke with each other.
If I was picking like an actual favorite scene and not just like a favorite like joke.
See, I wasn't going for favorite joke. I was going for favorite scene. We probably could have done favorite joke as its own category.
I'm just saying, like that is probably my favorite scene in the movie. But if I'm picking like a quote unquote real scene from the movie, I would probably choose the moon scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just really good.
If we're going favorite joke, I have an answer too, though.
All right. Well, then next question. What's your favorite joke, Micah? Favorite joke in the movie?
Donkey Kong, you want to hold her? Please. Then you got to try a little tenderness.
Oh my gosh.
That is my favorite joke of the whole movie.
I would have killed to see that in the theater.
Oh, yeah. Oh, story time, people. This was awesome. This was amazing. So, for Valentine's Day...
Oh my gosh.
Me and Haley... Which she's been on the podcast.
Yeah, she was on the Insidious episode. She was on the
Insidious episode. But me and Haley, on Valentine's Day, we're like, let's go see a movie.
Let's go see it.
And then we were like, okay, what's in theaters? Shrek. We went and saw Shrek.
Which, I mean,
in theaters.
Shrek is one of the greatest date night movies ever made, so it makes sense that it was playing on Valentine's Day.
It was an amazing experience.
Dang, bro. It would have been killer. I guarantee. That is a really good joke, though.
No, it was great. Yeah, I love that joke. It was great seeing it in theaters, too. See, I don't know. I'm not a big hood scene fan other than like the song, because I don't know. I don't like the Matrix fight joke.
I think it works pretty well. I don't know.
Like it works for telling the story, but I don't find it funny.
Oh, see, I find it funny.
Yeah.
Just mostly the song. I find.
No, I find the song funny. I'm saying like the Matrix bit, I don't find.
Not to mention the choreography for the song is so good. Yeah, but like honestly. That the entire forest section is just so funny to me.
Right? Blue flower, red thorns, blue flower, red thorns. This would be a whole lot easier if I wasn't colorblind.
Yeah, no, it's a good time.
Yeah, no, I'd say I'd cite the forest walking with Fiona back to Duloc as like the best part of the whole movie.
No, that has like a lot of my favorite character moments and a lot of my favorite jokes in that section.
You know what it gets interrupted by, Remy?
What does it get interrupted by? Them eating rats?
It gets interrupted by that stupid plot point. That's what the story led to. That's what the greatest part of the whole movie led to.
I don't think it's that egregious, Mike.
Remy, but that is what the whole movie led to.
Well, do you want to talk about that, Micah? You want to talk about that?
I already have it. There's nothing else to say. It's trash.
Why do you think that plot point doesn't mesh well? That is with the rest of the story.
Well,
it doesn't work well.
I've always thought, like, even when I was really like young, and I don't know why. I've
And
always
watched
thought
Over
that.
the Hedge 16,000 times.
Yes, even like the Over the Hedge thing, I thought was stupid.
Yeah, see, there's a DreamWorks movie we grew up with.
Ayo, Over the Hedge. But like, I've always hated, and I've always thought it was really stupid in movies, in books, in shows, whatever, when there's like simple misunderstanding plots, especially to the horrible point of this movie. Like, this movie is an extreme case of misunderstanding. There's a lot of misunderstandings
yeah.
in movies that I could get, but like him overhearing Fiona say, like, oh, horrible,
I mean,
ugly,
what
who
else
could
was
love
he
an
supposed
ogre?
to think it's...
Right? No, I get that. But he never once says anything that like makes it sound like, he never says anything. He's like, oh, I heard you last night, and then he just leaves. Fiona is never like, oh, then you know that I'm an ogre.
It's because he's cut deep, Micah.
No, like there's so much in that conversation when they're mad at each other that it could have been so. It just bothers me so much, and then he goes through all that.
I mean, it does get chopped off because Farquaad comes in.
Yeah, like it's like, I don't know. That is the culmination of most of the story, because the story kicks off. The Brady was.
Well, that's breaking into Act 3.
Yeah, I know. And like, that's what I'm saying. That is the culmination of this build up for all of Act 2, where I think the story is at its best, where you have these characters at their best.
Oh no, Act 2 is definitely the best.
And then you slam the story and the pacing right in your face, and you're like, wow, this sucks. And then Hallelujah plays. Shrek walks into the distance. Like, I think it kills the pacing. We stop the movie. They go off back to the swamp, blah, blah, blah. Takes like 2 seconds of dialogue with Donkey. And Shrek's like, oh my, I've been an idiot.
I mean, I'm just glad, like, to that point, I'm just glad that they don't let it, like, brood for an entire, like, 20 minutes or something.
No, it's not the worst instance of this that I've seen.
I've seen much more egregious versions of this.
Like, even A Bug's Life. Which the entire the entire plot is
it's all
simple mistakes and misunderstandings. Like the whole thing, from Flick's machine barely malfunctioning.
I hate that no one like gives Flick the credit he deserves, man.
Right? Flick, like, The Bug's Life is one of my least favorite Pixar movies of all time.
Is it just because of that, Micah?
Well, and I don't really like the characters. I don't really find it funny. I think the animation looks bad.
Well, yeah, all those other things too.
But mainly that, yes. But yeah, like, no, that's really, I don't know. I don't have much of a problem with this movie. I just always hate the movie when it gets to that point. I feel like this movie would be like 100% watchable for me if it wasn't for that plot point.
Which is probably why you like the second one that much more, is because there's no big misunderstanding plot point.
Yeah, like, and I thought they were going to do it, which we'll talk about when we get to the second one, but I thought they were going to do a misunderstanding plot. I was like, oh my gosh, are you serious? But yeah, I don't know.
See, I agree that it does bother me a little bit. Like, obviously, like, it's not as... It doesn't feel as smart as the rest of the screenplay is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It just feels kind of like thrown in there because they needed a reason for Fiona and Shrek to split up, to reunite in the third act.
Right? Like,
kind of thing.
They're getting along. They've grown.
Yeah, they're actually getting along amazingly.
Like, Donkey, they're all happy. They're going well. So, of course, they need conflict. And honestly, I think growing up, I think it's just kids' movies that do this the most. And I think that's just on the writers of kids' movies, that they can't think of like smart conflicts.
So they just need a big misunderstanding.
So they're just like, sure, this thing happens.
Which, I mean, in the screenwriter's defense, the whole misunderstanding thing in this movie kind of plays into the themes of the movie, like the message of it.
Yeah,
but like,
quote unquote plays into the themes. But that's just from the fact that both of them think no one could love them, not the fact that Shrek misunderstood.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying like this was. I'm not like defending this as the opportune choice for that. But I'm just saying like you can make an argument for saying that it works somewhat well.
I don't know. I feel like you could have come to a like for me personally, I feel like you could have come to a good, smart conflict while they're both getting like along together, where they both have insecurity and like self-doubt and end up kind of breaking it off and maybe her going off in a way that isn't a conflict per se, but is just kind of both of them in self-doubt because both of them are supposed to think.
You could just have like Farquaad show up at the camp the next morning and they'll be like, oh, right. And then she'll just agree to go anyway, that sort of thing, which would feel a little weird.
No, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying like make a conflict of some kind, but don't make it like a conflict. Build it up naturally through their character to just kind of be like they don't know what to do because they both have feelings for each other, but they both feel like they're unlovable in different ways that they haven't even like that Fiona hasn't even told them. There could be conflict with that.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just kind of dropped the ball in revealing it and using it as a misunderstanding plot.
Fair enough. Yeah, honestly, to that point, I really do feel like that's like one of the only flaws with this movie, which is so crazy to me.
No, yeah, I really don't think I could like be like another point and then go into it like this with anything else. It's just like, yeah, I think some of the jokes don't work as well. Do you have another question?
I do have another question, Micah.
Amazing.
What is your favorite? Well, I thought I had a question. Hold on.
What is your name?
No.
What is your quest?
We're bringing it back around to the Monty Python thing from earlier.
Dang, you're supposed to have your question ready.
What is your favorite character from Shrek? There are a lot of good ones. I just wanted to ask.
I mean, Shrek.
There are a lot of like really iconic
characters. Shrek is like obviously a good pick because he is the main character, and it dedicates.
Shrek is obviously.
And it like the name of the movie is Shrek. It dedicates most of its time to giving you Shrek as the character, you know. But I think honestly, like I have to go Donkey. Movie 1 Donkey is just. I don't know. I find almost everything he says in this movie funny.
Movie 1 Donkey.
Yeah, because, like, I don't know, Shrek 2 Donkey just isn't there that much.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know, man. Because, like, I mean, Shrek is the obvious pick, but then he picks Donkey.
No, yeah, I mean, Donkey is the second obvious pick.
Well, that's true.
Like, there are a lot of fun characters in this. I'm not even a big Cameron Diaz or Fiona fan.
Bro,
and, like, Fiona's still, like, a fun character.
No hate against Cameron Diaz, but I kind of hate all of her work.
Okay, just like most of the movies I've seen Cameron Diaz in, I have not liked her performance or her character.
Yeah. But I do like her performance in the Shrek franchise so far, so... Yeah. Good on her, I guess.
But yeah, like, because they're like the three main that they actually dedicate time to, and then there are all the other characters.
What about Farquaad?
You know? I would say choose your favorite main character and choose your favorite side
favorite main character. It's got to be Shrek, though.
I don't know. I still got to pick Donkey.
Okay.
I just find Donkey really funny, and I think he has just as much not character growth, but character moments as Shrek.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing is essentially their relationship, and then in a more extent, like Fiona and his relationship.
Definitely. Well, yeah, like it once again plays into the whole theme of no one could ever love someone like me. Whoa.
So yeah, like the first instance for Shrek opening up is, he finally has a friend, somebody who doesn't judge him immediately, and then he finds love.
I was about to say the movie would never happen without Donkey, so.
Yeah. And then favorite side character.
That's a toughie, actually. There are so many.
Farquaad has so many like iconic lines.
Farquaad.
I swear. You may die.
In
But that's a sacrifice I will
Indeed.
Just like almost every line from him is iconic.
I can't believe it, man.
And so on and so forth.
You know what? I'm gonna say favorite side character is the Magic Mirror. Kind of a left field pick.
No, that's a good pick.
But he's all of his
funny.
lines are funny. He's got a good voice actor.
Yeah,
it's a good time.
Whenever
the mirror's on screen, you're having a good time.
I gotta go Farquaad because while he is the worst, he is really funny and his lines are iconic and have sparked so many memes.
Sure. Oh my gosh, Micah, when I was watching it, every time I watch the movie, whenever it gets to the wedding scene, I always watch for him pointing at the crown.
Right,
meme.
pointing at the crown.
It's so good. Oh my gosh.
Or the meme with the ogre has fallen in love with the princess.
I swear. I honestly believe that they I don't know what was happening at DreamWorks, but some of the frames in this animation
are amazing.
Like who designed Lord Farquaad? Who designed him?
He looks so weird.
I swear, man.
But yeah, I'm trying to think of like another good talking point.
Good talking point. I love how like two of our questions have almost had nothing to do with the quality of the movie.
No, there's really, because that's the thing about Shrek, and that's actually what I was worried about talking about Shrek is like besides like the couple things that I'm like, wow, I don't like this. I mean, like, what is there to talk about with Shrek? You know, it's really funny, and
yeah,
it's got some really enduring characters.
Yeah.
But without like, especially without like Shrek 2. There's really not much to the movie.
Yeah.
Shrek 2 adds a lot of dimensions to the universe and to this movie that you don't have if you've just seen Shrek.
Definitely. But I mean, it's interesting to think about Shrek from that angle because a lot of the time, like a lot of the experience watching this is like it's a cultural, like I said in the podcast description, it's like a cultural touchstone at this point.
Yeah.
Like everybody has seen Shrek.
It's kind of interesting too, how I feel like a lot of the concept of Shrek, like on the internet and as most people see Shrek versus like the movie Shrek. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that's because of, you know, like all the movies and everything.
Yeah, I was about to say,
and,
we're living in a like post Shrek 4 or 5. I don't remember how many
4.
there are. 4.
They're coming out with a 5th one.
Yeah, post 4 Shrek movie universe.
But yeah, like and maybe Shrefolos is right. I haven't watched Shrek 3 and I don't remember like specifically when Shrek 3 came out. Like as a child,
I remember the release of Forever After. That's the only one I remember that too. But I don't remember 3 coming out.
But like according to Shrefolos, which he is a huge Shrek fan,
and a great YouTuber.
A great YouTuber too. He cites Shrek 3 as kind of the point where, yeah, it was always a cultural phenomenon, but where it becomes more of like just a meme because people no longer thought the movies really had quality. So I feel like at that point, like so much of Shrek has become just a meme.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people like miss the fact that while yes, there are a lot of memes and a lot of like iconic jokes in Shrek, there is actually like a good story in Shrek.
Yeah. Especially the second one. The second one is a killer story.
Right? And it's kind of funny to me like watching Shrek and I'm like, wow, this really is like, yes, like there's Shrek the meme, but Shrek the meme I feel like has gotten separated from Shrek the movie at this point. Like Shrek the meme has lived its own life.
Yeah. Which, I mean, like, there is something similar happened to B-Movie, a worse quality movie.
Worse quality for sure.
But still, like, there's a lot of merit there. It's, once again, a really funny movie.
Like, B-Movie does have quite a significantly underwhelming story compared to Shrek.
No. If you're just comparing it to Shrek on a movie standpoint, like, there's not much there.
But yeah, like, the meme of Barry B. Benson has lived such a longer life and much a more extended life than the B-Movie ever has. So when you watch the B-Movie, you're like, ha. Barry B. Benson funny because meme, but then like you're also like, oh yeah, the movie is kind of funny too.
I was about to say, removing, like, if Shrek had just stayed totally underground and they're like something like Sinbad or something, like if it was at the popularity level of that. Which, I mean, with the themes and stuff Shrek plays into, it was kind of destined to be huge when it came out.
Right. I mean, there was nothing like Shrek when
Yeah.
Shrek came out. There is everything like Shrek now.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, if it had stayed underground, like, same movie, I think you would really step back and appreciate a lot of what the screenplay is actually doing.
Yeah.
More so, like, I'm not saying, like, you can't do that now, but I'm saying it's a little harder because you're just like, oh, look, it's the meme from...
But yeah, and I
Yeah.
think also like on a point of what what I said just a couple of seconds ago, I think Shrek is super important to, and you know, it's gotten added to a bunch of film history stuff, and I feel like a lot of people forget that, like, yeah, just because now we're saturated with a bunch of bad animation that's trying to rip off Shrek, also we're like layers deep now to where it's not even trying to rip off Shrek, it's trying to rip off Shrek ripoffs that are
Exactly.
ripped off Shrek ripoffs.
Yeah.
Like, we have gone into layers deep of kids movies after Shrek, but Shrek influenced the kids movie genre like so heavily, it's not even funny.
It's so crazy.
Like,
man.
celebrity voice acting wasn't even hardly that big of a thing until Shrek.
You know, Mike Myers as Shrek is so weird to me because I like almost can't hear that it's Mike Myers.
Like in animated movies, for some context to people, like, yes, you did have your occasional celebrity voice actor.
Yeah,
But
obviously.
like, until Shrek, most of the time, it was just like
Actual voice actor.
like voice actors that are just voice actors, and then the celebrity who was usually chosen specifically because somebody was like, yes, this celebrity for this character, like, you know, like Robin Williams for the genie, a character
Yeah.
that was written specifically for that actor.
Yeah.
But then when Shrek came along, and then it was like, bam, they used most of their marketing to be like Eddie Murphy, Mike Myers, Cameron Diaz. So everybody, after Shrek did amazingly well, the studios were like, oh,
Oh.
so celebrity voice actors and
Equals
dumb
money.
they were like, celebrity voice actors, dumb jokes, and pop culture references equals money.
And they would be correct.
And that was the downfall of
The
animation.
downfall of society.
It wasn't Shrek's fault. It was the producer's fault.
Yeah. I mean, the movie industry will always learn the wrong lessons from successes of movies.
Right? I feel like that's just a constant thing. Just
Yeah.
movie
does
industries
well.
just like
they learn
being
that
like,
the worst lesson possible from that.
obviously this thing, not the fact that the movie is really good.
It's like you watch Napoleon Dynamite and it does really well, and it's like, ah, yes, we must make all of our movies have milkshakes and
No, yeah,
stuff like
I
that.
forget which Lindsay Ellis video it was. I think it was about Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
Where she's like, even with like historical epics, even when like historical epic movies started doing like some of the big historical epic movies that came back started to do poorly, nobody could comprehend the fact at the studio that the movies just weren't good. It wasn't about the fact that
Whoops.
historical epics were bad. It was that those movies were bad, which is why we'd have stuff like Pirates of the Caribbean and Gladiator and all sorts of things that got real popular, even though they were historical epics.
And that genre was pretty far gone, like
Right.
dead at the
So-
time. Yeah.
Studios pretty much will always learn the wrong lesson from success or failure of a movie.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I just think Shrek is a really interesting quote unquote film study,
Oh no, definitely.
just because, like, yeah, it's this really stupid, like, funny, weird, goofy, petty movie
yes.
that influenced history so much.
I was about to say, if you're coming at Shrek from a film history context, it is such an odd movie, like such a totally weird movie, because like,
Especially in like a post Shrek
oh yeah, no, definitely.
like viewpoint, because like after Shrek, like we're just so used to the animation that Shrek kind of led into.
It's so weird, man. Like, it's just wild to think about, like, if Shrek never happened, you know? Like,
Right,
what would be the Shrek of the world?
Because I feel like it was inevitable. I feel like we were gonna hit the whole like celebrity voice acting weird plot,
obviously.
like pop culture referencing, the kind of animation we have now. And I feel like we're layers enough deep into that now we have like trolls where it's part of where not only the trolls are themselves a pop culture reference, but also their entire characters are singing songs that are pop culture references.
Yeah.
We're layers deep into it now.
Oh man. Dang, interesting to think about, like, comparing trolls to Shrek. Because there's a bunch of similarities between them, but they're so drastically different in quality, man.
No, I think Trolls is an interesting talking point just in general, just because it is so layers deep into the concept of...
I was about to say, like, Shrek has the pop soundtrack, like, which I don't know how many animated movies had, like, this killer.
There weren't really
I was about to
any
say,
animated like, there were obviously, but they were never like just like, oh, get that pop soundtrack going, like in an animated kids movie. It was always like, hey, choose this movie. Like, there were occasionally like obviously pop songs, but a lot of times they were usually written for the movie.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's just so crazy because Shrek has such a stacked soundtrack and a good score too. But, like, it's wild to think about the fact that Trolls kind of has the same thing, like a lot of really popular songs on it, but it just doesn't incorporate nearly as well into the movie. It's weird.
Well, I think a lot of it, again, like, a lot of it is missed what made Shrek good, and I think, like, that's the real thing. Like, what was good about Shrek that so many animated movies that are now not even inherently even anymore, like I said, ripping off Shrek, but that's just the cultural jump off point for kids animated movies.
Like, that's like, what do you have in a kids animated movie? You gotta have the pop soundtrack.
You gotta have the goofy humor.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta have like the pop culture references, the more adult jokes.
Oh man. I would not show Shrek to like anyone under like 12 or something.
Right.
It's a bit racier than like I remember every time I watch it.
There's a lot of stuff in it that I'm like,
okay.
I mean, it's funny, but
no,
like
it is funny,
at the same time, like,
but like
I wouldn't show that to a young kid.
Yeah, I wouldn't show it to kids probably.
But again, we come from a little bit different background for most people. Most people would like, show Shrek to the kids. It's a kids movie.
I mean, it does have an important message for the kids, Micah.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
But yeah, no, I think that's really the only other, for me personally, interesting point of discussion for Shrek, because like, Shrek, the movie itself, is so like, it just is what it is.
Yeah,
it was the first to do what it did, and it works pretty darn well.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's pretty great.
And I only have one big problem with Shrek on a whole, but I think it's really interesting to look at Shrek as like film history for like the current hellscape of animation.
Yeah, animated movies, especially kids movies, are not in the hottest of conditions at the moment.
Especially now, because like at least before there were so many that you would get like a lot of like good ones that were trying to not be like just money making kids movies.
Yeah,
you'd get your good amount of like good Pixar, you get your good DreamWorks, your good indie studio ones.
I was trying to think of like good animated movies that came out in the past year, but like Soul was really great.
But yeah, even last year, really the only good animated movies we got were just like Wolfwalkers and Soul.
Yeah,
and like outside of that, we got a lot of kids animation that was honestly kind of trash. And I kind of hate most kids animated movies that come out now. And yes, I do attribute a lot of that to Shrek. Of course, a lot of that also comes from from Shrek 3 kind of thing, where they lean even more into stupid comedy and not clever and just that kind of thing. And that movie still did well. So
I swear.
But I feel like after Shrek 1 and Shrek 2, the movie couldn't not do well.
I was about to say, it would have to be like an absolute dumpster fire of a movie and just not be funny at all for it to not succeed after Shrek 2.
I don't know. I think it could have even been not funny and it still would have done well.
Yeah. No, Shrek is such a... I feel like we've said this a lot, but it's such an odd movie. And no matter what context you look at it with.
Because, like, its origins, whack. Like, whack. Jeffrey Katzenberg being annoyed at Disney and wanting to make a movie to rip on them by making his own studio. And, like...
by making his own studio.
No, and it's funny, too. Like, if you look at the history, he literally, when he made, like, DreamWorks, he literally was just, like, calling in every favor he could possibly get in the animation department to start the studio and get people going. And, like... He was such a jerk. He even, like, with Ants, he tried to, like, literally rip off...
to rush it out before...
Like, it's not confirmed, but, like, Jeffrey Katzenberg did talk with the creators of Ants before... I mean, the creator of A Bug's Life before he left. And then he tried so hard to, like...
They kept pushing that movie forward, man.
Yeah. And just, like, all sorts of things like that. And just, like, so much of DreamWorks seems like it should just be a trash studio.
Yeah.
But DreamWorks has put out some genuinely really great movies.
Yep.
And then, like, the movie itself becoming, it's really funny and really good, but being so new and different and becoming A, such a meme, and then B, such, like, a cultural... like, I don't know how to put it, like, changing point for
it was a cultural reset, Mike.
The movie industry.
It was a cultural reset.
Like, Shrek is, and there's no reason Shrek should be the movie I'm saying that for, but it is.
I think it honestly has earned its classic status.
No, I think it has too.
Even just on its own.
It's 20 years old now.
Man, it doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it at all, man.
No, it really doesn't. Dude, it's 20 years old.
That's
what
crazy.
The heck? What the heck? There are people being born right now where Shrek is going to be an old movie.
Shrek is an old movie.
And even though I was not born when Shrek, like Shrek was out when I was born, like, it is not an old movie by any means. It, like, pretty much just came out when I was born.
I was about to say, in the grand timeline of you being on this planet, it's not that old, man.
No, it's like, it's Shrek. It's kind of always been there. Like, our generation is the Shrek generation, really. Like, like in the theater while we watched Shrek, it was pretty much just all college students and high school students.
Yeah.
Because that's really the range of, like, Shrek fans.
Yeah, I was about to say, I feel like most millennials enjoy Shrek. To an extent, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's odd. But do you have any other questions before we sort of get into wrapping stuff up?
Not really. I honestly, I'd be fine with just going into my closing thoughts. There's not very many other talking points I wanted to bring up. We've basically mentioned everything I actually think about the movie.
Yeah.
So
I was wondering, like, earlier, I don't really think it's a good question or anything. I just wanted to know if there were any other jokes or anything specific from the movie
just
itself.
like
you wanted to, like, specifically
other good gags from
the
movie?
like of note, something that you specifically really liked about it.
Ooh, man, there are a lot of good ones. Of course, the entering Duloc scene is really good. Like, just literally that entire sequence is so funny.
The fight scene with Shrek, like, in the Nights is so good.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's so good.
Can't we just settle this over a pint?
Oh, man. It's so good. The onion scene is really good.
Oh,
I feel like that scene has become a meme, and, like, it's just it works so well.
The ogres,
like,
have layers, the onions have, like, that is such a meme, but it is, like, an actually really, really well written scene.
Yeah. Of course, I already mentioned all of the stuff in the forest is really funny.
Onions have layers. Ogres have layers. You get it.
Of course, when all of the fairy tale creatures first come into his swamp. That's a really good scene too.
Yeah,
it's just really funny.
I like too how and you know, it's like a really simple joke. It's nothing super note, but I've always liked how they're like he like yells at them and is like, I'm going to kick you all out because you're horrible, and they're like, yeah,
I'm gonna send you back where you came from.
I'm gonna send you back where you came from. Yeah.
No.
And it's just stuff like that that's clever to the and I think that's why I like that joke too, is it's clever specifically to the universe.
Yeah.
And so much of like the jokes in the movie are like so simple, but they're clever to the specific universe that Shrek is built. Like the dragon being the way the dragon is. Mm-hmm. Like you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of weird, but like it's funny in the context of the Shrek universe because sure, why not? Like, and the fairy tale creatures and just so much like goes into the cleverness of the building of the universe itself, to where it's not just like you said, like a cheap shot at Disney every time.
I was about to say, like, it could have so easily just turned into like, let's take cheap shots at all the Disney movies.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Instead it actually has a well-designed world in which comedy is pretty like built in to what they're telling. Like you could just have this environment, and well, of course, like I'm saying, like they had to write the jokes, but I'm saying the jokes come easily because they just have built something where comedy is so integral to the universe, essentially.
Something like Seinfeld would be a good example of that, I think.
Where they're not really like telling jokes, but jokes just kind of...
They happen.
They're happening. Things are funny. In fact, yeah, I think, as stupid as that sounds, I think even more, like we said, I think the first Shrek is Seinfeld, and the second Shrek is like...
I couldn't think of a good second half to that analogy, but
I was about to say like something like Parks and Rec, but I feel like just because the comedy styles are different, that doesn't really work.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of like some comedy where like it's very much like jokes written as jokes versus kind of jokes feeling like they're coming more naturally.
I mean, Parks and Rec is kind of a good example of that.
Yeah.
Like none of the like the universe of Parks and Rec is a whole nother conversation.
Exactly, but that's more what I'm saying. Like the kind of universe in Parks and Rec where they kind of just make these jokes, and yeah, it's really funny, but it's not like quote unquote natural jokes.
Yeah.
It's more the fact that like these things are happening.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh, it's so funny that that's happening. Not like settle this over a pint kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah. No, I see what you're saying. Another one of my favorite gags from the movie is the game show thing with the mirror. I still think that's so funny. The Bachelorettes.
But yeah, and
that was like my last one.
for my comedy comment though, like I love both Seinfeld and Parks and Rec, and I love both Shrek and Shrek 2. It's just they're very different in their comedy, in my opinion.
Yeah. Which, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I don't know what to say. I agree.
So yeah, I think we've really covered our Shrek bases. I don't think there's really anything else of specific note.
Every day I wake up and cover my Shrek base.
Obviously, there's a lot you could pick apart in Shrek if you really, really deep dived into it.
Honestly, you could probably just make a Shrek podcast and just discuss it through a different lens every time.
Right, you really could. You could go on episodes after episodes of just picking apart the entire Shrek series.
Yeah.
But
it's good stuff, man.
Gosh, you interrupted I had a flow.
Oh, you had the flow.
I was going in a flow to lead us into our closing thoughts.
Oh, sorry.
And it chopped me off.
I guess let's just go into our closing thoughts.
So yeah, let's go into our closing thoughts. So, do you want to do your closing thoughts first, or should I do mine?
I guess I'll do mine first. Right. I feel like every time we get to the closing thoughts, every episode, I always just say
to the closing
we've
thoughts.
Already talked about everything.
I don't know why you say that every time, because that's not the point of
I know
closing
it's not
thoughts.
the closing. I know it's not the point.
The point is to summarize.
I mean, sometimes when the podcast is over, when we're done with the main discussion, my opinion has changed on the movie. My opinion has not changed on Shrek over the course of this conversation.
How is your opinion really going to change?
Yeah, exactly.
On Shrek?
Yeah.
Shrek is what it is. Honestly, there's not too much complex.
Really,
to
honestly,
Shrek.
it's like I said to Micah last night while we were watching it. I think Shrek is pretty much perfect outside of a few contrived plot points that they use in service of the main message, which it is definitely a movie built around its message,
and it's a good message.
And
too.
it's a good message.
We didn't really talk about that much, but like the message of this film and the way they do it with the ogres and everything, it's a good message.
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
And like with the friendship and Fiona and everything, how they build it, very well done.
Yes, no, it's a very very smart move. Very very smart screenplay on the whole. Actually, it's just the focus on that main message and like propelling it to the end. It just leads to a few contrived plot points that I'm not crazy about, but literally outside of that, I think it's pretty much perfect. I don't know. I wouldn't change anything about it other than that.
Yeah,
it's fantastic.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay. I see, for me personally, I love Shrek. I probably will always love Shrek. But outside of the universe being almost perfect in my opinion, and the comedy being almost perfect in my opinion, I don't think like the overall plot just doesn't do it for me. The message of the plot is good, but like overall, while I really like the movie, I just feel like the plot of the movie is so underwhelming for me. And it's not even bad. It's not awful.
You're not a fan of like Farquaad sending all the creatures and
yeah,
Shrek having to go get his swamp
just like
back.
The
that sort of
overall entire plot.
Like
of
if
the
you were
movie.
sitting down and telling this as like a children's story or something.
I wouldn't.
You have to simplify it down to just the plot points happening.
Yeah. I that's kind of underwhelming, and that's really the only problem. Obviously, like I said, it's got like a lot of that one contrived plot point. Again, it's only one plot point, but for me, it's like a big thing because that is the culmination of the story that I already felt was kind of like underwhelming-ish and needed to have something big. Like it needed to build to something, and instead it just kind of cut itself off to have a contrived plot point. So I feel like while you had a pretty decent story, you ended up just not building it to anything special story-wise. But outside of that, I think Shrek is almost perfect.
Yeah.
I gave the movie 4 stars out of 5 stars. I don't think I'll ever give it higher than that.
I think that's a fair rating, yeah.
But like I don't think I'll ever lower it either. I think it's a very 4-star movie because it's got so much that's like awesome about it, but I don't think it's like there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's good summarization of your thoughts, Mike. I guess now that we're done with that, we can head on in and see what we watched this past week.
What did we watch?
What we recently logged.
Ooh. All right. So for those of you who don't know, even though we kind of alluded to what it is, this section is literally just us going over what we logged on Letterboxd. We log every film we see on Letterboxd that's on Letterboxd. So we're just going to go over what we watched since the last episode, which the last episode was a What We Watched episode where we just talked about what we watched in more detail than what we're going to do right now.
Who'd have thought?
So we're starting after the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, correct?
Yes, because the episode went out on the 22nd.
So we're starting on the 22nd for what movies we watched. We didn't actually watch a whole lot of
no,
movies.
No, we didn't watch very much this past week.
This week was weird.
This week
I feel like we were busy, but I don't even remember what we were busy with.
I don't know. I was kind of preoccupied all week, so
yeah. But yeah, do you wanna start us off?
Sure. The afternoon while we were working on getting the last week's episode out, we were watching Sonic the Hedgehog.
It was a rewatch, the new.
Yeah.
And you know, because they put it on Prime, and we just saw it, and we were like, Sonic, why not? Like, give it a rewatch. We may never rewatch it again, but like, you know, give it that rewatch it does deserve, in my opinion.
You think it deserved a rewatch, Micah?
Yes.
If it was a 2D animated Sonic, it would deserve a rewatch, I think.
Wow. There's a lot we could do a whole episode
there's
about
a lot
Sonic.
to discuss. It's whack.
there's a lot to do with Sonic, but at the end of the day, I do think it's a pretty cute, pretty harmless movie with Jim Carrey giving an amazing performance, and unfortunately, James, how do you say, Marsden? Yeah, James Marsden is in it, and that's the biggest L. But like,
the biggest L.
Sonic is not Sonic in my opinion, but he's fine.
No, he doesn't feel like Sonic at all.
I'm a big Sonic fan. I always have been. Both me and Robbie used to be part of a Sonic fan club.
Yes.
And yeah, like that's probably my biggest complaint. Just to simplify the movie, is Sonic doesn't feel like Sonic, but Jim Carrey, amazing. Like honestly, I love that performance so much.
Yeah, honestly, it's like top 3 Jim Carrey performances. Honestly,
Right. I gave the movie 3 stars, which I think is I think it's a pretty 3-star.
I think that's a pretty fair rating.
Next.
What did you watch next?
Next would be for Nancy for me.
Okay, I watched in between Nancy, because we watched Nancy together. I watched A Man There Was, which is a Russian movie. I don't remember what language it was in. I believe it was Russian. Or no, it was Swedish. That's right. It was my first ever 1910s movie, like first ever movie or feature length one anyway, from that I'd seen from the 1910s, and it was really fantastic. You should go check it out. It is surprisingly emotional. It was a good time. But yeah, after that we watched Nancy.
Yeah, Nancy was
the 2018 movie.
A weird movie.
It is weird. Yeah, you could do a whole episode on Nancy too.
I came out of the shower and they turned it on, and then they rewind, and I watched it from the beginning, and not sure I would have ever chose to watch it.
Yeah,
not sure I'd ever choose to watch it again.
I mean, I would have turned it on maybe because Steve Buscemi was in it.
Steve Buscemi's in it,
but like,
that's pretty cool.
Outside of that, there's not really a big reason I would have turned it on.
You know, the only thing I really liked about this movie?
What?
Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting technical elements you could discuss with Nancy. I feel like
story kind of sucks.
I feel like it's a lot of wasted opportunities with its storytelling.
Yeah, like the point is told through the story well, but the story itself just isn't well paced out and structured.
No,
and not very cleverly done. So you just kind of have this very base level, doesn't go anywhere story that tells this very simple, like, point.
Yeah. Not great on the whole. I mean, it was fine, I guess.
But hey, I found out that the director of this was one of the directors who worked on The Act, which was a series I was interested in.
Well, there you go. I mean,
supposedly it's pretty good according to Letterboxd.
It's according to Letterboxd.
Letterboxd.com.
But yeah, no, Nancy was weird.
I gave Nancy 3.5. I do think it was like pretty decently well made.
I think a 3.5 is pretty fair.
Yeah, I just don't think it like ended up being much.
No, yeah. It could have been so much more.
Next I logged Demon Slayer, the show. Not the movie.
Show.
The movie hasn't come out in America yet. It's coming out next month. But yeah, you can log the show on Letterboxd, so I did. I didn't rate it because it's a TV show, not a movie. But I just want to shout it out because it honestly is one of the best anime I've seen, and I would call it pretty darn accessible from most people because it doesn't have a lot of the stuff that's very anime-y, and the fact that a lot of people get turned off to it, except for that one really, really, really annoying guy in yellow on the cover. I don't remember his name.
Wow.
But it's a very gory show, but I would suggest it. It's a very fun, very well written for anime especially show.
Well, there you go. But Michael, what is a show if not movie persevering?
Exactly. Didn't you say we might do this on the podcast though for when the movie comes out?
Yes, I'm thinking about a couple weeks down the line. We're still going to be doing the Shrek franchise, but we're thinking about taking like a 2-week break to do the show and then the movie. We're unconfirmed as of yet, since we don't know if we'll be able to see the movie when it comes out, but still.
But yeah, because as we have said, though we haven't done yet, we said we were going to start doing TV shows.
Yeah.
in season 3. Haven't done one yet. Well, no, we did WandaVision. I take that back.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a mini-series, but
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. But yeah.
That was the 23rd, so
I
did you
want
watch
to.
anything on the 24th?
I did. I watched a crap ton of shorts. And I want to.
What was the 24th? I didn't watch anything.
You were working that day.
Oh, that makes sense.
So I had the house to myself, so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch some shorts. I'm gonna catch up on some stuff I missed. And I just want to shout out some of the best ones here. Hedgehog in the Fog, 1975. It's on YouTube for free.
Was it a hedgehog in the fog?
It was actually, yeah, it was a hedgehog in the fog. he had like a really high pitched Russian voice. It was really funny. Well, not funny, but like it was a good short. It's good stuff. After that, I watched Hunger, which was a 1974, one of the first ever computer animated shorts ever made.
That's cool.
Which is crazy. It was really, really good and also very terrifying. Would not want to watch that like around Thanksgiving time. After that, another really fantastic one I watched was La Chambre, which is a 1972 French experimental film where basically the camera is just rotating around a room for 11 minutes. And it was quite good as well. Then I watched also Mammals from 1962, which was my first Roman Polanski movie. Mm-hmm. This was actually really funny. I don't know why it has such a low average on Letterboxd. Like, it still mystifies me. It has like a 2.7. I think it should be at like at least a 3.7 or something. But yeah, it's really funny, really inventive. It uses its environment that it sets up really, really well. It was just a really funny and fun short.
It was funny and fun.
And then last one I wanted to mention was The Lamp, also Roman Polanski short. And it was really scary. It was I believe it's not too big of a jump to say that this was about the Holocaust, like an allegory for the Holocaust, which is, even more scary.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it was really good. So The Lamp, Mammals, there were a bunch of good ones this
What
week.
did you watch on the 25th, Remy?
25th, I watched multiple things on the 25th.
I was about to say, you watched even more without me.
Oh, did I?
Yeah,
I guess.
You got Brief Encounter.
Yeah, I watched Brief Encounter since I saw that it was David Lean's birthday, the director of Brief Encounter. And I had been looking for an excuse to rewatch it.
It is a good movie.
It's a very good movie. I don't know. We could probably do an episode on it sometime. It's got a lot of really inventive camera work that the last like 10 minutes of it I think are just like absolutely perfect with what the screenplay had set up. And the two main like cast people have really great chemistry. So I see Brief Encounter as one of my favorite 40s movies, definitely, and one of my favorite romance movies like of all time.
And then
it's a good movie.
On the 25th, also watched Cow TV.
Cow TV. Yeah, I watched Cow TV.
Why do you hate Cow TV, Ruby?
I don't hate Cow TV.
Then why didn't you give it a like?
Because I didn't like it.
Why did you hate Cow TV, Ruby?
No. I just think as experimental shorts go, it's not doing too much.
Who said it was trying to do too much? Who said it wasn't just supposed to be a relaxing thing to watch, at which the creator does find it rather relaxing?
Well, then I guess you succeeded on that front, Mike.
Yeah, I put out a short, and this was not a planned short. This was something I randomly threw together. Most of my shorts at least have some planning and some writing out. This had no. This was just me being bored.
I think this is your worst short film yet, Mike.
I don't think it's my worst short film. I really like Cow TV.
Well,
I think it's funny.
I mean, the more you know thing is kind of funny. Did you guys know that cows had 32 teeth?
Yeah. Did you guys know that? You would if you watched Cow TV.
Okay. I mean, it's on YouTube. I don't know if it'll pop up if you search Cow TV.
I'm pretty sure it would pop up if you search Cow TV. What else is going to be coming up with Cow TV? But anyway, because the shorts of Robbie really slowed us down.
Okay, sorry, geez.
Also on the 25th, we watched Lawrence of Arabia. This was my first time watching Lawrence of Arabia.
Another David Lean movie, baby.
I absolutely loved it. I thought it was amazing in almost every way. I think it's one of the most cleverly written stories I've ever seen. I have no idea, like, almost everybody I know, like, personally, not, like, obviously film people. Most film people I know would call this a really good movie. But, like, almost all of my family hates this for some reason, even though they haven't seen it in, like, 30 years.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you're watching Lawrence of Arabia. It's such a trash movie. It's so boring.
Bro,
and I didn't find it boring. I thought the story was amazing. I thought the cinematography was amazing. I thought the score was amazing. I thought the acting was amazing.
Yeah.
And I thought the message, like, especially was really unique and awesome, and I'm going to do a video on it at some point.
Yeah, it was fun rewatching it again.
I gave it 5 stars. I don't know. I loved Lawrence of Arabia.
Well, there you go. I'm glad I sat down and watched it. Yeah.
I would probably put that into like a top like 20 or something favorite movies or something.
Spicy. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot more on a second watch. I appreciated it a lot more for what it was on a second watch too, because I had seen it before just by myself, and I wasn't blown away by it. It was fine, but I did like it quite a bit more this time. So.
And then we drop off real fast in quality of movie for me anyway.
Wow.
Did you watch anything on the 26th?
I did not.
Okay,
no.
So the 27th.
I mean, yeah.
Shop a Pop
Do
Opera.
we want to mention? I'll
just say, hey, go watch Shop a Pop Opera.
Yeah,
it's very good.
Go to YouTube, type in Shop a Pop Opera, and then
it'll pop up. And also watch Opal while you're at it.
Yeah, watch Opal too. Good time.
Just watch both of those. That is the official recently recommendation.
Yeah.
Then we watched. Then I watched anyway. Avalon High.
Yeah, I was editing during that.
Avalon High, Disney movie, Disney Channel movie.
Really?
Trash in every way.
Every way.
It had that one actor from
Runaways.
From Runaways.
Oh boy,
that was a nightmare. Yeah, not fun, not funny, not well written, not well shot. Nothing about it was good.
Then why are you still talking about it, Micah? You're giving it buzz.
I gave it 1.5 stars. Next.
I mean, the next thing I watched
that's
was
the next thing I watched too.
We Can Be Heroes.
Heck yeah.
2020, baby.
Robert Rodriguez's masterpiece, We Could Be Heroes.
Perhaps his magnum opus.
The sequel to hit movie Shark Boy and Lava Girl, even though it as a sequel, it's the most confusing thing in the world.
It's not really a sequel.
It was really like
weird?
It was about what I expected.
It was a bit better than I expected.
It's a whack movie. It's a Robert Rodriguez kids movie that's a sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I feel like that describes it.
What more do you need to know? Yeah, I was about to say, if you've seen Shark Boy and Lava Girl, I think you know.
Almost every bit of the production was done like either by Robert Rodriguez or his family, which I find pretty funny. Like he's like director,
family
director,
grown,
cinematographer, editor, producer, writer. I don't know. Another one of his family was another producer. Did the composer like just it was
wild,
all
man.
It was all the Rodriguez family. But hey, I will shout out one thing about this movie.
What?
Pedro Pascal.
Ayo.
Pedro Pascal.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Dude, I just wanted to see him actually in action with the swords, though. I felt robbed with that.
I feel like we could just do a Shark Boy and Lava Girl episode and tack on our thoughts on this sometime, because there's a lot to talk about with Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
The most disappointing part about We Could Be Heroes is that Pedro Pascal had a really sick power, had really sick weapons, and then did not get to use them literally at all. He jumps at them in one shot, and then that's it. But honestly, yeah, I think if we did one long episode, we could talk about both, because there is quite a bit to talk about. Yeah, there is
something to talk about,
but there is quite a bit to talk about on its own for Shark Boy and Lava Girl, but not enough where I'd be like, yes, let's do an episode.
Let's do a Shark Boy and Lava Girl episode.
So we might do that as a double feature sometime.
Yeah, interesting movie. I liked it though. Just for the record, I liked it.
That was the last thing I logged.
I logged Cow TV and Lizzie's Treat once again, which are two of Micah's short films, if you are unaware.
There's a reason, though, Revy, that Cow TV is not an M. Greyway Films short film. It's a random thing I put out on my personal channel. It's not officially under the umbrella of M. Greyway Films because there was literally zero effort put into it.
Wow. Well, there you go. Is there any project you've been working on the past week that you want to shout out here at the end, Micah?
I've been like I scheduled myself now that I've started more college classes and everything to only do one video a month for my channel. But I am starting to like plan out my video for next month, which is going to be the brick video, and I am running polls for like my next video. After that, which, like I said, very well could be a Lawrence of Arabia video, could be a Wolfwalkers video, a Prestige video, a The Wind Rises video. Wow. But yeah, at the moment, it's a tie between Wolfwalkers and Lawrence of Arabia. You can vote on that on my Twitter at Micah_Greyway.
Well, there you
go. But yeah. It's a tie, and I can't have another tie like the Farewell and Brick. I don't know how we tied on the Farewell and Brick. Even when I ran the poll again, we tied. I was like, what the heck, guys? But yeah, that's really it. I've just been kind of, because of how busy I've been, I don't have time to do 2 videos a month.
Well, there you go.
Anything you want to shout out?
What have I been doing the past week? I worked on a lot of personal projects. Once again, if you're interested in my film opinions, I've added a few more lists to my Letterboxd stats page. Rather interesting.
Oh yeah, I ranked Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was about to say, a fun thing you could go and check out are my director lists, which if you find like my Robert Rodriguez list, it's right at the top at the moment. Because it's the last list I edited, you can find a link to all the other director lists where I've ranked like Christopher Nolan's filmography, Spielberg's filmography, that sort of thing.
By the way, I do want to say though I found this rather confusing for people. But on Letterboxd I am Micah or Games _things. I feel like people haven't found like there's some people who I follow who I don't think know who I am because of my name on here.
See. I mean, I don't know. Letterboxd, do you have your Twitter linked to it?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. That's usually how I identify people.
But Yossi doesn't follow me.
Wait, Yossi doesn't follow you?
Yossi doesn't follow me. It's sad.
Sad times, man.
Right?
Yossi's a cool guy.
Right? Right? And I feel like he would like the fact that I've liked some of these movies.
Mike, maybe if you change your profile picture to your actual profile picture.
My profile picture is beautiful.
Like keeping it consistent across all platforms really does help with people recognizing you.
My profile picture is beautiful.
It'd be like you wearing like different kabuki masks on every building you enter, No one's going to know who you are. Except for you have this tiny name tag on your shirt.
But I shout it out a lot.
Well, I mean, that's...
I don't know. Yossi, if you hear this, follow me on Letterboxd.
Wow.
Please.
Wow. But yeah, no, it's been an interesting week. I don't know what we're doing this next week. I got more work to do. I got stuff I want to do. I don't know. What are you going to be working on a video, I guess?
Today?
Well, not
this
today.
This week? No.
No?
I'm waiting till April to work on my April video.
Yeah, my birthday's coming up soon.
Yeah, happy early birthday.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mike.
I think we're going to be recording an episode like right after your birthday.
Yeah, I was about to check the calendar. Oh shoot, yeah, like right after my birthday.
Your birthday's on like Saturday or whatever, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I mean, maybe we'll do a birthday episode. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do.
Hey, you wanted to watch a bunch of movies? We could just do a birthday episode and talk about all those movies.
Yeah.
Birthday live stream.
Birthday live stream.
Like we did the live stream for
the end of the year.
The end of the year.
Yeah, that could be fun. I don't know. Who knows what'll happen next week? We thought we might be doing Shrek 2, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't think about the fact that my birthday was like a couple days from the episode.
So where would that be? That would be like, when is their next episode?
Next Monday, the 5th.
5th, 12th, 19th. Okay, so it would be at least 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks until the Demon Slayer movie came out.
Well, yeah.
I was just trying to figure out. Anyway, this is planning. This is planning stuff. I feel like we should have cut. We should have. Some of this will be cut off, I'm sure.
No, I'm gonna leave it all here, Micah.
Wow, we're gonna
they need the real experience.
We're gonna drone on.
The real experience.
I'm gonna drone on and on so we can hear our mom complain about the fact that we're still going at the end.
Hey, at least our mom listens to our podcast.
That's
Micah.
true.
Shout
out to our mom.
Some people's moms just don't care.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Adios.